Okay, and we're back. I'm kind of surprised you said Gex. I wasn't expecting that one.
Why not? I don't play a lot of 3D platformers. That's when I think about the ones that I've actually played and like actually gotten deep into. That's probably the one that I played the most.
That's right. You didn't really have a 64, did you?
I did not. I went straight from the PlayStation to the PlayStation 2.
That's how you missed the Mario train.
Yep, I missed them. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't play it. I mean, it's a good game, but I never got deep into it because I never owned the system.
Right.
I did. I basically, when the N64 first came out, Blockbuster had that deal where you could go in and like rent the system, and we did that a couple of times. We got that, and we got Pilot Wings.
I love Pilot Wings 64.
Yeah, which I mean, as much as I like Pilot Wings, I have to hammer home that it was a game that like there wasn't necessarily a specific point for that game. Like there was no actual
goal.
You pretty much had to come up with your own objectives in that game.
Other than like, well, you have to get this many points to proceed.
Yes. But, you know, beyond that, there was no actual specific goal. Like, really what I did was I mostly played Wingman that whole time. The wingsuit.
Birdman?
Birds, that's what it was. And there was no real goal in that at all.
Just fly around.
Yep.
I liked the gyrocopter.
Yeah. Gyrocopter was alright.
Well, basically gyrocopter, Birdman, and the jetpack.
Let's see, what other games did I play on the N64? Pokemon Snap. Played a lot of that, actually.
I rented it like twice tops, I think.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. Well, like I said, you have to remember, I never owned the system, so for me, unlocked was like playing the game over a weekend.
I can't imagine playing Pokemon Snap nearly that much.
Well, I played it enough to beat it, so that's pretty much it.
Alright, what's your favorite beat 'em up?
Beat 'em up? Streets of Rage.
Yes, but which one though?
I'm gonna have to go with 2.
Yeah. I mean, 3 is alright, but
3 is good, but it's like there's too much stuff in it, and plus they screwed with the American release of that game so much.
I would say Streets of Rage remake, but that doesn't count because it's a fan game.
Yeah, that's a really fuzzy one here. Which I'm so sad that the minute that they released the game like in a complete state, that was when when Sega struck on it. It's like
even though
you guys didn't care for like years,
like 8 years.
Yeah, and it was not like they were selling it. It was for free the entire time. So I'm not sure why they thought that it was going to somehow harm their sales.
Because Sega, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're stealing from this whole demographic we're actually not at all profiting from.
Because we don't wanna. Who's your favorite one? What's your favorite fighting game?
Favorite fighting game? Shit. I don't know if I can do that one.
I think I basically said King of Fighters, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I'd say King of Fighters.
I just want, like, in an overall kind of way, I went with King of Fighters.
Yeah. I'll have to go with Street Fighter on that one, just because that's everything that any other, pretty much, even though there were other fighting games that came before it and that may have done things before it became a big deal, everybody always goes back to Street Fighter. Always.
Pretty much.
I remember, and I think I mentioned this in another video, I was reading some guide to fighting games in general, and they started with Street Fighter 2. They started with Ryu and how he controls space, and as far as 2D fighters go, that is the prototype for everything else. Controlling space is kind of the thing in 2D fighters, and that was a game that kind of started that trend. I don't know, I almost want to split it in 2D and 3D in that case, because 2D is definitely Street Fighter. 3D, I'd say probably Virtua Fighter.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
As little as I play it now, because there's nobody to play it with and there's no new game coming out. I like
Sega, get on that.
Yeah, get on that, Sega. But first, actually do your people right that like Phantasy Star.
That's not gonna happen.
No, it's not gonna happen.
We've all come to terms with it.
Yeah. I still think it's, like I said, I would, if I ever talk to them, like, do them right, please. You put out the frickin' anime, but that's the part that gets me. It's like, you reopen the womb by releasing the anime, when you have absolutely no intention whatsoever of releasing the game in any sensible state.
Even though there's an English translation already.
Right. Well, there's an English translation, but it's for a version, a somewhat substandard version of the game, from what I understand.
Well, the Southeast Asia version, I think?
Yeah, the entire game is based around pay to win.
I would say my favorite 3D fighting game is actually kind of a three-way tie between Virtua Fighter, Tekken, and Dead or Alive. Well, Dead or Alive 5 specifically.
Yes, specifically Dead or Alive 5. Because Dead or Alive was okay up until that point, but it didn't even get remotely serious until 5.
It was a little too heavy on the whole counterattacks, do a shitload of damage.
Oh my god. One of the reasons I like Dead or Alive, and one of the reasons I like it so much, is because even though there is a high degree of skill in that game, if you can, it's a game that very much relies on your reactions, and if you can pay attention to what's going on, even if you might not necessarily be able to do combos, you still have a little bit of a chance. Whereas Tekken, you're toast. Doesn't matter.
Once the jungle starts, it doesn't stop until the act is over.
Exactly.
Until the circus leaves town.
Exactly, you're done. Virtua Fighter, you can kind of get away with that, but I guess honestly, I feel like what helped Dead or Alive was basically embracing some of Virtua Fighter stuff, because that's what Dead or Alive 5 feels to me. It's like a poor man's Virtua Fighter, but I like it still.
And so much that they also brought in Virtua Fighter characters.
Exactly. They figured, hey guys, they're not making any other game. Come play with us.
Well, speaking of, I should probably get out of it. As Sophitia beat Valdo, he was freed from the spell. She gave Valdo's evil weapon to Hephaestus. As a reward, he gave her the sword breaker.
Oh no!
Why would you give her a sword that is meant to break other swords? What kind of god of the forge art is this?
Well, they're gonna destroy Soul Edge, right?
Yeah, that's true. Mount Chi towers over the southern edge of the Korean peninsula. There is a historic temple. There is a historic temple at the foot of the mountain. It is said that the temple was built in the 4th century. The stage in front of this temple is used for training by students at Song School. A girl called out to Sophitia. "You're not from these parts, are you? I see you also carry a sword. Can you use it?" Sophitia just throws the sword at her. It's like, no. The girl challenged her to a fight with a long sword. Not really a long sword, but whatever. Is this a trial? But the gods did not answer her. I don't want to fight without a reason. She is the only daughter of the martial arts school teacher and master swordsman. She has been in a foul mood since she was rejected from the Coastal Defense Force and will challenge anyone to a fight. So basically, she's got something to prove. Right, next question. What is your...
What? Sorry. It's my phone buzzing.
What is your least favorite genre of video game?
Least favorite genre? Probably first-person shooter. Which is why it's so strange that I like Destiny.
I did it.
I didn't... There we go. Okay. Thought we disconnected.
And What is your least favorite genre of anime?
I don't really think about anime in genres, but I'd probably have to say harem, even though there are anime in that genre that I like.
Like Tenchi?
Yeah, I like Tenchi. But all too often they turn out to be just, they turn out to have little to no point and kind of run around in search of one.
Usually the point is panties.
Yes.
Panties and jiggly boobs.
I don't know about that. I just feel like I need more than that out of my entertainment. I say as I'm gearing up to watch wrestling show on Sunday.
Though Sophitia was puzzled by the sudden challenge, she engaged Song Mina. Then, Mina, stop that! It's my dad. Nah, I'm in trouble. Mina turned and ran away from Sophitia. She shouted back as she ran. I'll let you go this time. Surprised, Sophitia watched her leave, and then just kind of left, I guess.
And she's like, well, that happened.
That whole stage didn't really have much point. Straight
Basically.
There is a desert in the... Here we go again. There is a desert in the Central Asia. The Central Asia. It's the hardest...
The Central Asia?
Yes, exactly. That was my point.
The Master Asia? No.
Super Asia! It's the hardest part for the travelers who are crossing the continent overland. Nothing but the ruins of an ancient Chinese fortress lay in the sand. Bandits? Sophitia entered the ruins of the fortress. She felt that someone was sneaking up to her. So she looked back and was like, "Who are you?" And then Taki was like, "Give me back the shrine sword." And then the game didn't really specify who was talking about what, really. You just kind of have to go from the fact that Sophitia's being told to give somebody back something. Sophitia was confused as the stranger pounced upon her without mercy. It seems that there's no way to avoid this fight, is there? And that's how my erotic fanfic started.
Also, it sounds to me like the way to avoid the fight would be to give the sword back.
With the sword that she doesn't have.
Oh, that's the problem.
Well, I think she got a sword. It was a sword breaker, I think. Except
yeah, but she didn't actually take the sword.
Yeah, she got it from a god.
Mm-hmm.
She is a ninja who kills demons for a living. She came to this land following Sophitia to retrieve the weapon taken away from the shrine. The sword that she gave to Hephaestus. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
In fact, it had to explicitly note that.
Yeah, it's like that sword.
First, fight.
Oh, yeah.
This game. And then Taki just stabbed her, and that was the end of it. Right. What is your favorite tactical RPG? Which I assume means like FFT-esque.
I played all 3 games in that type of genre. The tactics, all of the variations therein, and the Final Fantasy tactics. Tactics Ogre, which I've only played 1 game out of the series, the GBA one. What was the other one? Fire Emblem, the DS one. And out of those 3, I have to say probably Final Fantasy Tactics.
Good answer.
Good answer. And people are gonna hate me for this. You might want to hang off before I say. Hold off before I say this. I actually liked A2 the best. You still think that?
No, I don't.
No. I didn't. Bet you didn't. A2 is my favorite.
This show is over. We're done here.
I'm not saying that regular tactics isn't bad. It's an awesome game, but I never got into that game like I got into the Borderlands.
I'm just giving you sass.
Yeah.
Sophitia repulsed tacky. Okay. I don't think that's the word they wanted to use, but you know.
I mean, it's a valid word, but it's probably the wrong connotation.
Yeah. She took the fire blade, Wait. No, I'm thinking of Fire Pro Wrestling, not Fire Blade. That the ninja dropped as she ran away.
Dude, if they ever... Well, actually, let me just say this. When I get my capture card, I am totally doing Fire Pro Wrestling.
Oh boy, the Coliseum.
But I'm going to do it.
Oh, I guess I'm not equipping that. Sucks energy, do not want.
Huh.
Here is a question specifically for you, though.
Okay.
Who is your favorite wrestler?
Oh, boy. Huh. That kind of always changes with the tide, but right now I'd have to say my favorite one, out of all of them, probably Xavier Woods.
I don't know who that is.
Of course you know. That's the one. He actually has his fingers in like everything. I mean, he is. You've seen A New Day, right?
I've seen you make posts about New Day and talk about them a little bit.
Right. Well, if you ever see a picture of the New Day, you have the big, huge guy, Big E. Big surprise there. You have Kofi Kingston, who is the one that wears... He's got, like, this vest, and
I
he's
know.
got...
I remember who Kofi Kingston is.
Remember Kofi Kingston? Okay, so Xavier Woods is the third guy.
The trombone guy?
He's the trombone guy, right. He is entertaining on many levels. And he has a genuine desire to... He actually wants to put people above, over himself. Like, you'd think a wrestler, when you talk about most of them, they want to have a point when they get a run and they want to win a title. This guy wants to get Kofi Kingston to the point where he's got a title. That's the kind of guy that Kofi Kingston, or the kind of guy that Xavier Woods is.
Even though they're supposed to be heels?
Yeah, that's the toughest thing with them is they're heels, but they're so entertaining that the crowd probably actually wants to cheer them, but their act would not work if they weren't heels. They tried to make them faces when they first came in, and they were these black preachers, and they're happy, they bloated their power of positivity, and for a little while they were kind of getting somewhere. And then at some point, everybody just decided they didn't like them, like they were just too corny.
That shit is stupid, stop it.
Exactly. And so they started going, New Day sucks, New Day sucks. And the New Day had started doing this this kind of cadence. Like they would clap, 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 clap. And so the crowd would chant to that. And then they realized that the crowd was giving them crap, and they knew that it wasn't going to work the way that they were given. The act would not work the way that it was given. It was eventually going to be a problem. It was going to go stale. So they intentionally started playing up the heelish aspects of that character to the point where they actually got a chance to turn. Like they when they realized that it wasn't going to work, they started laying it on as thick as they possibly could. But yeah, he took two guys. Xavier Woods was one of the people who spearheaded that group. So he took these two guys that you got one guy that he was at one point going to have a run and never really went anywhere. And then you got this other guy that should be higher up than he is, and he's not going anywhere because they didn't handle him right. And
Kofi Kingston?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about Kofi. Kofi being, a guy that at one point was challenging Randy Orton and just kind of went nowhere. Now for the longest, he was just a guy that was just happy to be there. And then you had Big E, who you just look at him. He looks like somebody who should probably be like a world champion somewhere. He just, he's got that kind of physical presence. And then he's entertaining as a talker too, but for some reason they would never let him talk. Like he didn't seem to have any personality. And then he got those two guys together in a group, and they became more than the sum of their parts, and they're to the point where they're pretty much one of the more entertaining things to watch on anything that they're on. And then on top of that, he's done some stuff outside of the ring. He's got a video gaming channel. He does streaming like we do. And he's managed to get wrestlers on this show out of character, and it's like the most entertaining thing to me.
My answer to this question is probably
Macho Man?
well, I was gonna say Alexei Zalazov from Saturday Night Slam Masters.
Okay.
Because they
I
never.
have no idea what that is. Okay.
You don't remember Saturday Night Slam Masters?
I never actually got to play that game.
Biff Slamkovich, as he's called in America for no particular reason. Because it sounds more Russian, I guess.
You'd probably like Rusev.
What do you do when you're not playing video games?
I work.
I said I didn't understand the question.
I work and I watch wrestling. That's pretty much it.
Alright, speaking of, I should get on with this. There is a secret coliseum where fierce warriors gather from all over the world. Sophitia arrived at the coliseum in time for the contest. Prove yourself and win the prize, the god told her as a pop-up appeared before her.
Beat them up and win 15 silver points.
I like how Mitsurugi's style is just Mitsurugi.
Yep.
I am the style. Do you have any bad habits when it comes to making new characters in D&D?
I don't know. I wouldn't say I have any bad habits per se. Other than I have a tendency to make female characters for some reason. But I do that in everything.
That was what Matt said his bad habit was too. He was just like, he just said, I'm not sure if that actually qualifies as a problem.
Yeah, I don't really think of that as a problem. That's just what I do. And it's not like I haven't made male characters before. I have. Some of them have been pretty awesome. But I tend to look at any situation where I'm making a character in anything, game, a D&D thing, as something towards, any other stories that I'm working on. So, in trying to figure out how that character works, that's ends up being, that usually that always kind of informs what those characters become.
I told Matt there wasn't really a problem with making female characters all the time unless you're Chris Claremont.
Oh dear God.
Then it becomes a bit of a thing.
Yeah, Chris Claremont has a number of other problems, and that is, his thing for powerful women is one of them. Not that I can blame him, but still. One of the things that always kills me about Chris Claremont is, I've gone back and tried to read his writing, even the more recent stuff. The guy loves his words. Holy crap.
Words.
So many words in a comic book.
And then I got that weapon from Tower of... What is it? Tower of Dragura? Dragara? Drugia?
Draga?
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not Draga?
Yeah.
Because most of the time with this game, with Sophitia, they tend to do Legend of Valkyrie. I'll know in a second here.
I think they do. I think this is a the Legend of Druga thing because they put the blue crystal rod in fucking everything.
Blue crystal rod. Okay, yeah, I give you that one. I know that there's some game. I don't know if it's this one where she has a Valkyrie weapon too.
Probably. In Mortal Kombat, Sophitia defeated the following 3 fighters. In the first match, the Japanese samurai Heishiro Mitsubishi. In the second match, Tomboy Song... What kind of fucking title is that? Song Mina. In the third match, Hwang Sung Kyung, who was trained in the same... Wow, that's... Who's just...
Are they just saying he's dull? Is that what it is?
That's basically... It's like, well, he trains in the same style as Song Mina. Descriptive. Shut up, beeper. Sophitia got the blue crystal rod as a prize. Next time on Radical Bromance, maybe people with better titles. Probably not.
Oh.
Though.